Good morning, Illini. Welcome back. It's Healthy Illini Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Matt Schrock, and we're glad you're with us today, whether you're joining us for the first time or you've been with us for this journey over the last few years. We're excited to have you with us. We like to talk about a wide variety of health and wellness topics, and we try and hit on a lot of things, but there's some topics that seem to creep back up on a college campus pretty regularly, and today is one of those, and we're going to be talking about stress and end of semester, and I'm excited to have this conversation. Today I'm joined by two members of the stress management peers here at McKinley Health Center. They work with the stress management educator through the health ed department, and they do a lot of things on campus and help with a lot of areas to educate and support students as they go through their classes and through their semesters. But I'm really excited to have you both here today. First up, we have Sarika Kumar. She's a senior in MCB and about to graduate in a few weeks. Mm-hmm. So congratulations, but thank you for being here, Sarika. And I'm joined also by actually a repeat guest. Shuli Rai is a senior also with major in psychology and then communications, and she's going to be graduating as well, so thank you for being here. Thank you. But you were also a part of an episode back in November 22, episode 52, as we passed our 100 episode mark, but episode 52 was about sleep hygiene. So if you're listening, you haven't checked that one out, go back and find it in our archive and go ahead and see what she has to say there. But it's really interesting because we've had repeat guests, but no one with quite that distance between the two. So this is exciting as well. But thank you for being here, Shuli.
Thank you for having me.
So it's April. Somehow it's April. And the end of semester is looming. And for a lot of college students, that means an increase in stress. And I'm sure as you're looking both at the end of your undergraduate career, there's joy, but there's also stress there as you're trying to figure out not only how to finish strong in the semester, but what you're going to do next. And there's a whole lot of decisions to be made in that. And it's my contention, I don't really have any data to support this, just my own personal feelings, is that the end of the spring semester the end of the spring semester is even more stressful than the end of fall semester, in that it feels like it's been a long grind. At the end of the fall semester, you're only a few months in, coming from your summer break or whatever you did over the summer. But in the spring semester, it feels like you've been in school for a long, continuous time. You got to break it in between the semesters, but it's not that long. And there's holiday and family and all kinds of things that can happen during that. And so it feels like you've just been grinding. And so as you come to the end of that spring semester, what are some tips that you can share with students listening that will help them stay motivated and stay focused as they're looking at those deadlines coming due?
So I think a lot of a lack of motivation can come from getting too caught up in the little things and losing sight of your goal. So for example, as pre-med, I'm trying to get into med school, but beyond that, I'm trying to be a doctor, to go out and use all my science knowledge to actually help people. So by reframing it to look at that bigger picture and then seeing all these little things as stepping stones to get there, it sort of helps me go, instead of I have this deadline coming up and this deadline and this project, it's it allows me to put all that in context and figure out the why behind all my actions. And that makes it easier to move forward. But that being said, it doesn't change the amount of work. So, yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, you're that why, that's actually popped up in a number of podcasts recently on various topics, that keeping that idea, that why helps stay with the motivation, because it gives a purpose. It gives a feeling of what I'm trying to accomplish, as opposed to just grinding through the next thing, through the next thing, which can really wear you down. But it doesn't work for everybody. So, sometimes some people like to break it down to that minutia, and that works better for them as opposed to the daunting big why. But for you, that's something that works, and that's a great way to look at it. Shuli, what kind of things do you recommend to stay motivated through that end of semester?
I definitely agree with what Sarika said about focusing on the bigger picture, but then also what you said, that I think that's more of the approach that I take, one thing at a time. I'm okay, I might have a lot on my plate right now, but let's just focus on this one thing, or let's just focus on getting through today. And I feel sometimes that does the trick, at least temporarily. And then I think I definitely find more merit in looking at the bigger picture, because it also just helps put all my stress into perspective, because I'm like, okay, like I might be stressed about this like 10-page paper that I have due tomorrow, but like in the great scheme of things, it's like, okay, it's okay. Like you'll be fine. It's not the end of the world. So yeah.
When it comes to motivation for like the little projects, I also find it easier to like do things with people. So like if you're really struggling to like get started on assignments, or like trying to carve out time to like specifically do work so you can tackle all those little things, I find like making plans with my friends to go study is really nice, because then I don't feel like I'm being cheated out of having that social life, because you're still seeing the people you care about, but you're also able to like sit there, get work done, and help keep each other on task.
And that actually leads into the next thing I wanted to ask about. So what are some practical tips to make it through that one day at a time idea, to get through it? Because you're looking at the big picture, but it's the old adage, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time?
Right.
And so that those little steps that get you towards those those goals, especially when you're coming to end of semester. What's some advice you can give on how to get through that day to day?
It's kind of silly. I have like so many, but I also have like my one ever-changing list of all the things I need to get done, which can be overwhelming if you look at like everything that needs to happen. But it also helps me figure out, okay, what am I stressing about? What's in my head that I can put onto paper? And then seeing those things, I can then rank them in terms of importance, in terms of like what needs to get done now versus like what can get done tomorrow, next week, sometime in this next month even. And also like what I can get done the quickest, what takes me the most energy. So like if I wake up one day and I'm only at like 50%, then I might only tackle the tasks that have like that lower energy cost. So I can still feel like I've gotten something done, but I'm also going to be honest with myself in terms of like, this is what I can accomplish, so I'm going to try and do that. And then also not beating yourself up for not being at 100% all the time, because like if you're giving your best 100% of the time every single day, like that's not sustainable. That's not good for you. So yeah.
And the lists, I like that. I'm a list person to a degree. I'm not great with lists, but I try. But one of the things that helps me when I do make a list is, like you said, you can see the things that take more energy or take more time. Because sometimes I'll get done with here at work even, I'll get done with a meeting and have an extra 15 minutes I wasn't planning on. So I can look at my list and say, okay, what works in that 15 minutes?
Right.
This one is definitely going to take 30 minutes. I can't start that one. But this one I can knock out real quick. It may be an email. It may be just touching base with somebody. But those lists do help because it helps me.
Yeah.
It helps me visualize my time, and in that way. Shuli, what about you? What are some practical ways?
So one thing that, especially when I have like a lot to do, like lists definitely help also. But like taking breaks in between like each task is something that helps me a lot, because I know like something I've learned about myself over the last like couple of years is that if I try to like just keep like working, even if I'm like super excited about the work that I'm doing, I exhaust myself really quickly, and then I'm just not being productive, and I'm just not getting anything done at all. So, like getting the task done, but then also like maybe like rewarding myself for something after like every little task, like playing a little game of solitaire on my laptop, or just like leaving, like if I'm studying somewhere outside, like leaving that environment, going out for a walk, coming back in 5 minutes, just like a tiny little quick little break, something like that.
That can be huge, and that actually leads into the next thing I wanted to ask you both, because you've both been involved with stress management peers for a while, and through that program you are trained in techniques, you are trained in activities, ways to help guide other students who may not have that background, to find that opportunity to refresh, to relax, and especially right now because we're coming into finals, and you can make your lists for finals and it's going to be daunting. I mean, lists are good, lists are great, but you start looking at it going, oh, okay, this assignment, this exam, and I have this much time. It really, it can be, it's just major stress. It doesn't matter what student you are, there's always some stress involved in that, because it's the culmination of a semester's worth of work. It's a huge thing, and it should be. And so, you're looking at it, the assignments due, the final exams are coming, even just calculating grades, trying to figure out, where I stand in certain things. It's a lot. And it can be really hard to maintain the balance of what's due, of what needs to be done, and also that day-to-day maintaining of healthy existence. So from your backgrounds through SMP, what are some practical things that may not be necessarily study related, but can be the things that help support outside of that can help relieve that stress or manage the stress as you're going through those last few weeks?
Well, if you're speaking for finals specifically, if you get like a lot of like that pre-test nerves, something I didn't know before SMP was like the technique of progressive muscle relaxation, where you like systematically tense and release muscle groups in your body. And I just think that's really nice because it gets you to focus on, like, instead of your brain just sort of creating these scenarios where like you fail and a meteor hits the earth and we all explode and die, you're like...
But at least I don't have to take my exams.
Yeah. You're being a lot more present in your body and how you're feeling, and systematically like tensing your muscles and then releasing them helps you like release that physical tension too. So then, like, I know for me, I feel a lot better after I do it, after I take that, like, 5 little minutes, because then that's pretty easy, because now I'm sitting there, I'm at least a little bit more relaxed than I was before, and I can actually focus on what I know and, like, try and do a little better.
For me, I think it's something different every day. I couldn't I feel like I just know what I'm in the mood for like that day, but like some days it'll be like taking a break and then like watching a TV show for like 10 minutes or like solitaire, like I said. It's just on my laptop, it's easy, it's fun. I don't even have to like leave my table to like play my solitaire. But
that's an important distinction, is that it can be different. It can be different people. It can be different days because you're just feeling different, or, you know, people like to take a walk outside, but if it's the Midwest weather where it's snowing in April, which can happen, that's not always the best option, you know. So it's looking at what works for you. And thankfully, on this campus, we have a lot of options and a lot of resources. That's one thing that you are both fairly well versed with, is the resources that are available on campus, whether electronically or physically or location or whatever. Would you just share a few of those that we have available here for students at UIUC?
I think you can speak a lot more to this, but the counseling center, you can get like one-on-one counseling with someone, help talk about your stressors. But
yeah, definitely, it's such a helpful resource. And I think there's a lot of like misconceptions with the counseling center. Like a lot of people think that like, oh, like it's impossible to get an appointment, or I don't know, they like kick you out after 5 appointments or whatever. But like you can call them, you can like, they do like walk-in appointments too, you can make appointments like in person, they have group therapy, individual therapy, a bunch of things. So it's definitely like a resource that, and like it's free to everyone to use, so definitely like a resource to check out. And then also one resource that we now have is Janine, our like stress management health educator, also like free to make appointments with her. And
And that's here at McKinley in the health ed department.
Yes,
so, you know, somebody can contact them and they can go, and you don't have to have a referral for to meet with any of our health educators here in McKinley. So you can contact and have that electronically. We used to have a McKinley Wellness app, but that has now been assimilated into the Illinois app. So that's kind of the one that everybody needs to know about. But what are some things that are on there? Because our student body is a go student body. And sometimes you don't have time to stop at an office and talk to an educator. But there are resources that you can do wherever you're at. And that's through the Illinois app. So would you share a little bit about some of those?
I know we just brought up, like, you can meet with Janine, but she also has a Zoom link. So if you ever, no matter where you are, if you want to make an appointment with her, you can do that from the comfort of your own home. On the Illinois app, I'm pretty sure we have guided imagery exercises if you're into that. There should be instructions for a lot of our deep breathing exercises, progressive muscle relaxation, as I mentioned earlier.
Well, and with those, you can try them out. And you can find them fairly easily through the Illinois app. And it's just something that, you know, it may work for you, it may not. Guided imagery is not my favorite. It works okay, but the muscle relaxation, the progressive muscle relaxation, that's something that I use in a lot of different areas. And so, you know, that's what works well for me. For some people, it may be the guided imagery is a better source for them. And you can find out as you're going through that. Before we close, I do want to ask, because you do a lot of events on campus and you do a lot of opportunities for people to meet with you. In the next couple weeks, what are some things that you have going on that students can take advantage of as we're running to finals?
I guess our big thing is, I don't know, it's kind of my baby. It's like Dogs and Donuts on April 23rd. We're going to have one of the UI police dogs. I don't remember. Is it Lollipop?
I can't remember.
Okay. Don't quote me on the name.
This is a teaser. Stop by and find out. You know?
Yeah. We're going to have food. It's going to be like a fun time. We're going to have lawn games. Everyone loves cornhole. So, yeah, stop by. We'll be in, oh gosh, I think it's Granger. We'll be putting together stress kits. You can put together your own stress kit. It's everything I can think of right now. I know we have a couple workshops and things going on, but...
Yeah, and then I think we also have, like, every Monday, we do our Mindful Mondays, sometimes at the Orange Room, sometimes at Granger, and then also Thursdays we do Bring a Healthy You and I, also at Granger. And, yeah.
And where can you find more about this? You guys have an Instagram page, correct?
Yes, yeah.
What's your user there? Do you remember?
We're smp.uiuc on
Yes.
Instagram, so yeah, definitely give us a follow because we keep posting about our events and just like general stress management tips and stuff. So.
And just as another shout out, you can also find a calendar of events on the McKinley website. That's mckinley.illinois.edu. And you can check that out, and we have them posted there as well. So there's a lot of opportunity to kind of see what is available and what resources are out there and what things can work for you. And again, it's a matter of trial and error, and a lot of this of figuring out what it is. But the stress management peers are here to help. The educators here at Counseling Center, McKinley, we are here to help students. And so if any of this is interesting to you, or you're curious about any questions, please reach out, because I know that both of you want to help students. You want to help students succeed. That's why you do it. That's why you're doing what you're doing, to help the students around you to be the best we can be on this campus. One last question about the stress management peers. I know we're coming to the end of the semester, but there's students that are listening that are returning next fall and things like that. How do you become a part of stress management peers? What's the process to if you're interested in joining this group? What's the process of getting more information and getting an opportunity?
I believe a little bit before the semester begins, or just when the semester begins, there's going to be an application up on the McKinley website. We also, whenever we're going to have our info nights, we usually post about it on our Instagram. So again, follow our Instagram. And also, if you have any questions, you can't find the application or you don't know when the info night is, just I think send an email either to our health educator, or you can also text us or DM us on our Instagram page. Someone will definitely respond. So yeah. If you're interested.
Yeah, I'd say if you're interested right now, or you want to know more specific information as to when things are coming up or when we open applications or recruitment, definitely reaching out to Janine, our stress health educator, is probably the quickest way you'll get that information. And,
I say this on a lot of different podcasts, but, just ask. People here want to answer. They want to give the information. If you don't know, we'll be happy to share. And if you reach out to me, if I don't know, I'm going to find out and I'm going to direct you there. So if you are listening and you're curious about how to be a part of SMP, or more about what they do, or just anything along that lines, just reach out. Simple email, simple message on Instagram DM, and you will get some answers on that. Sarika, Shuli, thank you so much for joining today and sharing a little bit about stress management. I know with graduation looming, you're both very busy, so I appreciate your time. But I just wanted to say thank you for being here today.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Oh, jinx.
The end of semester is coming, and that comes with stress. It doesn't matter what semester it is. There's some stress. It may be big, it may be just a little bit, but everybody deals with it. Looking at the end of at finals and the end of classes and things like that. And so if you're listening and you're just not sure what to do, you're feeling a little overwhelmed, or you're just wanting for a little bit of assistance in navigating this next couple weeks, please reach out. Reach out to us here at Healthy Illini. Contact McKinley. Contact the stress management peers through Instagram. We want to help. We want to walk alongside you. We want to do whatever we can to try and guide you towards things that help you be the best that you can be as you're looking towards the end of the semester and whatever comes after that. It's a time of exciting and change and learning, but it can be tough at times, and so we just want to help out with that if we can. Feel free to reach out. Let us know what your thoughts are, if you have any questions, things like that. But thank you for joining us today. You are on a personal journey, no matter where you are in it. You are important and you matter. Your health and wellness are important and matter, and we're here to keep you well to excel. So go have a great week, Illini. Let us know how you're doing, and we'll catch you next time on Healthy Illini.